Hey, what's up, Geekish? 2021 is it's probably officially over by the time you're listening to this. I mean, it's only got a couple days left, but we decided that, we, being me, Bino, and Derek over there, thanks for joining us every week, kind of just skipped that whole intro and started talking. But we're going to talk about some of the movies of 2022 that we are jacked about seeing. There's been some good ones. I feel like the last year or two, there's been a little bit of lull, and there's been a few letdowns in movies that come out. Like, you're really excited for something, like, oh, it was a movie. But
what comes to mind on that one?
I like the Eternals and I can't even think of a few.
Wonder Woman 84 sticks out in my mind.
Wonder Woman 84. That was all kinds of hype that let me down big time.
I know a lot of people were excited about that movie. We watched it. You know, the movies have been a little bit different the past few years because of the pandemic and everything like that. And being able to watch that one at home, I was like, yeah. And then when it was done, I was like, I'm glad I watched this at home.
It had its moments, but
yeah, that was a letdown.
But anyway, we get to talk because we've been raving about Spider-Man Far From Home. We're not going to talk about that because I don't think I could talk about it without giving spoilers. And hopefully, it seems like everyone in the world's seen it 2 or 3 times looking at the box office numbers. Third fastest movie ever to reach $1 billion at the box office.
God,
well
so good.
Done, Spidey. Well done.
It's so good. But I mean, that movie right there is setting up one of the big movies, I think, coming into 2022, and that's the new Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. And, if you've seen WandaVision, you kind of know the setup there. If you've seen the trailer for Doctor Strange, I hope that they did. I don't think they gave away a lot. I mean, but the whole twist of the evil him, kind of like right there.
I don't think they didn't even necessarily explain it all that much.
Yeah,
of what
true.
it is, and it depends kind of what arc they go with in the comics. So I don't think that gave anything away. But you look at the tie-ins; they put it from Far From Home, from Shang-Chi, from WandaVision. Like it should be a spectacular movie.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yeah.
It's hard to get the homes separate.
It's the one. I'm glad that movies now aren't just called like, with Superman. It was Superman 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm kind of glad it's not just Spider-Man 3, especially because it's the third version. But I kind of wish the numbers were still there to keep them in order.
Well, I mean, Lord of the Rings. They're not Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3, and you can keep them in order.
I could still mess it up. I could still do it. I still do it with the Star Wars ones when I don't say episode names. I'm like, wait, New Hope, Empire, Jedi. No, wait, no, Jedi, Empire. No. So I'm appreciative of the numbers, but I digress. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness looks. Fantastic. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Some other huge Marvel ones that we haven't really seen anything for yet is Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm excited for that, especially since the third Thor is my favorite Thor. And they brought back the same director, so I have a feeling it's going to have hopefully the same feel.
Yeah, Ragnarok is one of my favorite MCU movies.
Mm-hmm. It's so much fun. I'm
jazzed about the Jane Foster story arc coming in and Natalie Portman being a big part of the movie. Mm-hmm. I know some people got a little butthurt about that, but if you read any of the Thor comics, it's right in canon with it. And it should be exciting.
What else? We got the Wakanda Forever, Black Panther.
Does that come out this year too? Dang.
This is according to the internet. These can also change. So if you're listening to this in 2023 and you're like, that movie hasn't come out yet, sorry. Spider-Man Across the Multiverse, Part 1, which I'm jazzed about. When they announced that one and they released Part 1 and they just said Part 1, I was like, oh man. It's going to be that huge of a movie?
Into the Spider-Verse had no right being as amazing as it ended up being.
God, it's so good. It's so good. And then we got, Morbius coming out here in just a couple months, actually, in February?
Yeah, I saw the preview for that before No Way Home, and this was the first preview I actually got a little more excited about it because I read a couple Morbius comics when I was younger. I'm like, okay, I didn't know much of the story, and then I saw some of the little teases for it. You're like, okay, so Jared Leto's a vampire. Great. How does this fit in the superhero? Okay. But the latest preview, it does look like a internal Jekyll and Hyde struggle that looks like it could be pretty interesting and some pretty cool effects.
Right. I'm excited. I'm excited too because if you see the trailer, they have that poster of Spider-Man on the side that says "murderer," where somebody graffitied over. So I'm excited to see where in the universe this fits in and how it fits in. So, and Marvel's, I think, kind of got it down where they can kind of even communicate with Sony Pictures, where they can kind of start integrating stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how that all fits.
It's got to, because I mean, you look at the post-credit scenes from No Way Home and from Carnage. There's some definite multiverse happenings in the Spider-Man and Venom worlds. In the one of the ones that showed some of the actual old school Fox X-Men across one of the dimensions for a glimpse.
Was that in the Eternals?
I think
I didn't see that one. So
yeah, whichever one of the ones one of the shows had the glimpse in there. So there's this possibility of all these pieces just coming together again.
Yep. On the other side of things, 2022 could be DC's year. They have the DC League of Super Pets, the animated one there that could draw, the lighter side of DC. It also could be like a Secret Life of Pets thing. I don't know.
I feel like it's a cute idea, but it's not a box office hit, I don't think.
Right. Flash.
Oh yeah, that's right, the Flash movie. Dude, which person's playing the Flash in the Flash movie?
Couldn't tell you. Let me check on this. Let me see if they have.
Because that was the one that bothered me, and I know that
it looks like it's the dude Ezra Miller.
Okay, so the one from Justice League movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they were both decent. I like the guy on the TV show pretty well for it as well. But it one of the things I like about the Marvel Universe is that the TV actors are being cast in the movies and vice versa, which is awesome. Just for fan and continuity's sake, it sucks when you've got different actors playing the same character at the same time.
Unless they throw in the whole, because I mean, even DC has a multiverse type of thing, unless they throw that in there.
Yeah, but even then, it's a tough sell. I mean,
I agree though, because the guy that played the Flash on the TV show, I grew up watching the '90s one, but then the newer one, it felt like he was Barry Allen. Mm-hmm. And then when you go and see Justice League or whatever they first did, the one with Ezra Miller, I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm. And I know I'm not signing contracts for Hollywood people, and I have no part in that. But when you look into these comic book movies, and they say, "Oh, it's all these contractual obligations; they just can't charge that much." Like, let's look at the MCU. That they build these movies decades in advance some of the time. Mm-hmm. You can't tell me somebody didn't have the foresight to be like, "Oh, that guy we got playing the Flash. Let's make sure we sign him up for 3 to 5 movies so we can get a couple around there." Not, I have one movie and we've got to find a new Flash. Oh, darn! Like, I know there's some politics behind it too, but
still, I mean, you look at the contracts for the Marvel, movies and everything like that. They sign them to a multi-movie thing, saying, "Hey, you have to be part of it for this long," and then, there's probably something in there that's like, we may need you back type of thing. Mm. I don't know. One that I am excited about, I'm excited about a DC movie. I know it's Black Adam with The Rock.
Oh, right. The Rock playing Black Adam, yeah. That could be... I love The Rock in a lot of his movies. Mm-hmm. I don't know much about Black Adam, so not much to expect in there, but it's probably a good thing.
It's exciting to see, because Shazam was actually another movie that DC put out that I was like... This is pretty good.
Yeah, Shazam. I forgot that was one of my favorite DC movies.
Mm-hmm. And so this is kind of coinciding with that as part of the Shazam universe. So I'm excited for that. Another one that's getting a huge draw, had a lot of stuff. It was supposed to come out this year and got pushed back, is The Batman.
Mr. Pattinson is Batman.
Yep, I'm excited because I don't have to go to the theater to see it. I've become spoiled. It's going to be on HBO Max. So, but that comes out in what? February, March, something like that. I don't know.
Quick. See, my scary part is I'm after seeing some previews of it and trying to get the Edward Cullen out of my head and the Cedric Diggory, I think Pattinson might end up being a really cool Batman. Mm-hmm. But I still have a sore spot in my head from the Suicide Squad that just came out on HBO Max a few months back.
You didn't like it?
It was such a letdown.
What? I enjoyed it. It was a lot better than the other one.
It had some funny parts, but it was hey, it was like a Saturday Night Live skit pushed together for an hour and a half. There wasn't it was not my bag, and a bunch of people were raving about how great it was. I watched it, I'm like, man, this isn't any better than the first one.
Oof. That's rough. I think it's better. But my one big worry with the Robert Pattinson Batman is his looks great, but you don't hear him talk in the trailer except for saying "I am vengeance." So, and we don't get to see him really as Bruce Wayne. So it's going to be interesting to see how he portrays that. I know a lot of people are speculating on that stuff, but that's, I think, where it's...
Can I be one of the first ones to say that I hope he doesn't do the low growl? Like,
I mean, but he kind of does already with because he's like, "I'm vengeance," right? So
it's going to be a little bit, but like,
not Christian Bale. And,
Christian Bale took it like a whole new level. Like,
well, Ben Affleck tried.
Ben Affleck tried to mimic that one, but it went from like, "I'm Batman" to "I am Batman." Like, he's not like an animal. Just talk lower. Like,
right. And then another DC one is Aquaman 2. What is it? Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. The first Aquaman was what? It was okay, right? It was entertaining.
It was entertaining. I put it up there. It was... Yeah.
I'll see it, but I'm not, it's eh. And then it seems like 2022 kind of is the year for sequels.
Every year's the year of sequels. We did an entire podcast about sequels like a year ago.
That's true. We had you got the Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore coming out, which it's going to be interesting to see because Johnny Depp got recast.
And that's, as much as I was just complaining about recasting, the previews I've seen from that, I'm actually kind of excited for the other guy instead of Johnny Depp to be...
What's his name? Mads Mikkelsen or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
He's a great actor, so I'm interested to see how they...
And I feel like he fits it a little more because in the last Fantastic Beasts ones, Johnny Depp did a fine job, but it was really tough to separate, oh, that's Johnny Depp. Like, I don't know what it was about it, but he didn't seem like he fit in the movie as well as most of the other stuff did.
Yeah.
But again, it wasn't awful. Just I think this one was recast that might end up being a good thing in the long run.
Mission Impossible 7, which I don't know how, but I feel like Mission Impossible is one of those series that it gets better with age. Because the last one, I mean, it's over the top, but it is very, very entertaining. And
I still haven't watched the last two that have come out.
Oh man, you're missing out.
I know.
Jurassic World Dominion.
Mm-hmm. We should finally be wrapping up the Jurassic Park.
Is it though?
Story? No, it's not because everything is going on. But I mean, I got to hand it to that franchise too with the Camp Cretaceous cartoon show they run on Netflix that actually goes in canon with the Jurassic Park storyline.
Mm-hmm.
They are doing some wonders for making sure that franchise sticks around and is crossing generations of people. And I mean, there's cheesy parts to it all, but they do solid work most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it. I'm excited for it, but it's like the last one was okay. I wasn't impressed by it. They didn't do anything new, so I'm kind of excited to see because they're actually showing the dinosaurs released into the world. So,
but that's what's scaring me. Is the first time around, Jurassic Park, awesome. Jurassic Park 2, this is okay. Jurassic Park 3, what did I watch? And now we have the second version of it. We got Jurassic Park, and then we're like, oh, that's really good. And the next one, like, okay, that was not bad. And here comes number 3. So I'm just hoping they don't repeat that trifecta of, number 3. Forget the plot.
Yeah. And then we have, I don't know if this is necessarily a sequel, prequel, Lightyear, the origin story of Buzz Lightyear, which I'm pretty sure there was a whole series on Disney way back in the early 2000s that kind of set foot on that. So
Lightyear looks pretty good, and for a way to keep the Toy Story franchise going without just having to have the same rehashed characters, like making an origin story for one of the toys, a movie that came out 25 years ago is based on, it's a pretty solid move.
Right. And then this one has had a lot of hype behind it ever since the first one came out, Avatar 2.
Oh, that's Avatar out this year, isn't it?
Yeah, Avatar to me is, we're talking the blue people Avatar, by the way.
Yes.
James Cameron's Avatar. It was okay. I wasn't blown away by the movie. I left the theater going, eh. You know, a lot of people hold it high up there, and to me, it was just.
I think it was one of those moments. That was before a lot of gaming got as big as it was.
Yeah.
And I think when people like you and me, we played video games and space alien worlds and cutscenes all the time, so it wasn't quite as awe-inspiring as people that were, you know, like special effects were just starting to come things. That's one thing I have to add. I have to after. I enjoyed it. It was not. I mean, if I walked out of that, I wouldn't think, oh, they're going to make 7 more of these. Yeah, great idea. But it was entertaining. And when I saw it at the time in 3D in the theater, that was one of the first movies I ever saw that I actually said, "Oh, that's what 3D is supposed to be like."
That's when
because
3D
it wasn't
was
crap
like
coming out at your face. It just made everything have depth.
Yeah.
You're watching it, you're like, "This is beautiful. I could just sit here and stare at the grass blowing in the background." Wow.
Yeah, it was a beautiful movie, but I wasn't like, "Oh, I need to see that again," type of thing. This says original story, but we'll see. I think it's just a reboot of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's only set for 1 hour and 21 minutes, so horror movies are usually a little bit longer than that, so it's going to be interesting to see how that works.
It'll only be 40 minutes too long.
All right. Hocus Pocus 2, that's coming out, 20 some odd years later?
Mm-hmm.
So
and I'm confused because there's a couple main characters that aren't doing anything with it, right? Like the 3 main witches are, but like a couple of the kids aren't necessarily a part of it.
Honestly, I think that's all everybody cares about anyway, is just having the 3 main witches. So
that's true.
I mean, you can recast the kids, no offense on that one, but as long as you have the 3 Sanderson sisters.
They got to bring Binks back though.
Yeah. Then we have Legally Blonde 3, which was supposed to come out in 2020, but that didn't happen. Haven't seen any of those. I've heard good things about them, but
And then Halloween for cheesy rom-coms, they were okay.
Right. And then Halloween Ends, which is the 100th movie in the franchise.
I can't wait till Halloween Ends 2, the next chapter.
Right. It really ends. We got Knives Out 2, which is interesting to me because Knives Out, you watch it, I don't think it needs a sequel. It's a pretty solid flick. Murder mystery type of thing.
It was okay. I was not blown away by Knives Out, but a sequel seems out of place.
Right. Top Gun Maverick finally comes out as well, which, again, did we need a sequel? This one's 30 years past or something like that?
Yeah, at this point, I hope they do a good job with it because I enjoyed the original Top Gun when it came out. It's still a fun movie once in a while. Mm-hmm. But I just wonder if it was time to just rehash a new version of it, but trying to continue that exact same story. If they tie it in right, it could be cool. But I'm cautious with my hopes.
That's how I feel with Scream. So they're rebooting it, but it's a sequel because it has the main characters in it. So that.
See, I hated the Scream movies to begin with, so I'm.
Gotcha. Another big one for the kids: Minions: The Rise of Gru. Which
just keep milking that.
Yep.
Illumination. Just milk it for everything you got.
Another sequel that they keep milking is Hotel Transylvania. This one's, I think, Transformania. This doesn't even have Adam Sandler, and it's going straight to Amazon Prime.
It doesn't have Adam Sandler on it? Mm-mm. How were they? Mm-mm. This is like one of those movies that came in the clamshells when, like, Aladdin came out, but then they had Prince of Arabia next to it with some really bad drawings that some other
here's the
knockoff
thing:
company
it's like
did.
it has almost all the same voice actors except for Adam Sandler. It still has Selena Gomez, Andy Samberg, and everything like that, I'm pretty sure. And then no Adam Sandler. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. And then, let's see, wrapping up the sequels, Sonic 2, I'm excited about.
Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik is...
right?
That's a solid mix.
And then Death on the Nile, the sequel to Murder on the Orient Express. So, a lot of sequels. I'm sure I missed some. But yeah.
It's a lot of sequels. And
then,
there's
of course...
There's some non-sequels we can get on, too.
Oh, I know. One movie that I'm really excited for because the trailer looks so...
Ecstatic, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah. I'm intrigued. I want to watch this movie right now. It's Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's an A24 movie, which if you know A24, they make some weird movies, but this one is kind of like it's like a multiverse movie, but without the comic book aspect of it. So I'm very excited for that.
That sounds intriguing. I've never heard of this till just now.
Dude, watch the trailer. It looks fantastic. Disney's Turning Red, about the girl that turns into a giant red panda.
My little one's obsessed with red pandas, so we'll be seeing that. And
yeah, I was gonna say, they made it look like when they first released the trailer for it. Like I was like the teaser, and then when they actually released a full trailer, I was like, okay, I'm pretty excited about this.
Yeah, the teaser looked like, oh look, another Amazon original movie for kids. Great,
right? The Northman, which looks fantastic, good old Viking story. Moonfall, which I like space. Scientific movies, sci-fi movies do pretty well, I'm pretty sure. So it's good old Roland Emmerich. So maybe he's getting back to his roots of the space disaster movies. I don't know.
I'm amazed you haven't mentioned Uncharted yet.
I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. Like I'm going through this. I mean,
you've got your list. I'm good.
They have John Wick Chapter 4. That's set to come out in 2023, though. That's what they're saying here. So it got pushed back.
How many dogs can that guy get?
The Uncharted. So I'm excited about that. I'm also nervous about that because Tom Holland says he wishes he would approach the character a different way, which makes me nervous because Nathan Drake is a very beloved video game character to us nerds. So it'll be interesting. Ryan Reynolds has a movie coming out, The Adam Project, which I haven't seen anything about. And this movie... Okay. You and I have kind of had a discussion about this. I don't know how I feel about it. It's going to be animated, so that's a plus, a step in the right direction, but it's the untitled Mario movie. Chris Pratt as Mario.
Mm-hmm. That's really going to be out in 2022?
That's what it says. That's what it says. And here's my problem with it. They have Charles Martinet or whatever, the voice of Mario, being a cameo in the movie. Why not just make him Mario? The man deserves it. Chris Pratt doesn't need to be Mario, especially since they're not going to make... They're like, I think Nintendo releases something that says he's not going to have an Italian accent, which... I don't know.
They're in kind of a... They're in trouble if they do, in trouble if they don't, if they have somebody do an Italian accent for it right now, so...
I think you're right. But I mean, like, you have an amazing cast, right? You got Charlie Day, Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, Seth Rogen, Fred Armisen... but Chris Pratt is the... I know a lot of people... He might surprise us. But I'm worried about that movie. And it says in theaters holiday 2022. So if we see a teaser, maybe I'll have a little bit more opinion. But just right off the bat, I went with the internet on that one when everybody's like, what? Because I was like, come again? And then when they announced Chris Pratt's also going to be the voice of Garfield as well in a new upcoming Garfield movie, I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That does look tough. There's the new Jackass movie too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Like, those guys are older than we are. I'm not sure how they can pull some of the stunt stuff they're going to try and do in that movie. Just saying.
Oh my god. So yeah, there's a lot of stories on that one. Just like the people getting like Bam Margera got fired from it, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'll watch it because of the nostalgia. And is it gonna be? Am I gonna pay money to see it in the theater? No.
Yeah.
I'm not in high school anymore. I don't need to do that. But
so that was the sequel we missed, and we also missed Madagascar 4.
I'm just going off of this list right here. There's another Madagascar.
Apparently so. It's going to be out on April 15th.
Wow, I'm surprised we haven't seen a trailer for that. Usually, that's DreamWorks. They usually put out trailers and tease stuff and get it all hyped.
I hadn't heard about this. Puss in Boots 2 set for September.
What? Why?
They got a Monster High movie coming out October 29th. I think they're about 2 years too late to capitalize on that. Even my kids like Monster High stuff. Yeah, let's get rid of all this.
And there's some original movies coming out that might fall to the wayside that I'm excited about. But just on my list, do you have any others that I missed? Because that's just my list of like the
As it stands right now, December 31st, 2022 is supposed to bring us a Hello Kitty movie as well as a remake of Dirty Dancing.
Didn't they already remake Dirty Dancing? They gave it an unnecessary.
I couldn't.
I think they gave it an unnecessary sequel, like Havana Nights or something like that.
Something like that. There's probably a few others out there, but so many movies come out and they're like, one word titles. You're like, I'm not sure if I've seen or heard anything about that. But that's just from that list right there. That's a pretty good haul of stuff we have to look forward to this year.
I was gonna say that's the thing too. Is I'll look at some of this and like, I've never heard of that, and then you'll see a trailer for it and you'll be like, oh, okay. Like Ambulance, I'd never heard of it until I saw the trailer for it before Spider-Man, which is the Jake Gyllenhaal Michael Bay movie. Mm-hmm. Looks like it could be an action popcorn flick, which I'm excited about. But again, it's one of those ones like a lot of these movies, I mean, especially, I don't know if it's because we're getting older, but a lot of movies seem to just come and go. Mm-hmm. The shelf life of movies now is, in the theaters anyway, is not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like how it used to be. You know what I'm saying?
Not like back when we were kids. I know it's not quite 2022 yet, but it just came out on Netflix, so it might count. But unexpected one, Don't Look Up. Got Jennifer
did you like
Lawrence. It? I did, but
I think you're like the only one then, because I've seen a lot of people lambasting it, saying it's not a great movie and it's just trash.
Well, it's a lot of social commentary on it, but it's somewhere between Idiocracy and Armageddon. But as far as a disaster movie, it's probably the most believable disaster movie I've ever seen. So it's like,
maybe that's why people don't like it.
And now I feel bad about it. Like, I hate people. I hate everyone. Because everything I happen, like, that's over the top. That literally happened like 6 months ago. Crap. Okay.
Right. Maybe that's why it didn't get well received. I'm like, it's too real.
Yeah, it probably insults just about everybody at some point because it doesn't pull back any punches. But it was an interesting watch.
All right, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
But I mean, that's our take on stuff. We obviously started with a lot of the comic book movies because that's both of us are kind of nerds. But what are you most excited about coming up in 2022? Because movies are coming out on streaming services, movie theaters are opening up places, and hopefully, if things keep going the direction we're going, we'll all get to see a lot more movies.
And check out the trailer for Everything Everywhere All at Once, because it just looks so weird, but I'm so excited for it. I think that's my type hype movie for 2022. That's not a comic book movie, so.
Excellent. There you go. Hit us up on social media at Geekish. Jump on there. Tell us what you're looking forward to in the movie theaters or streaming services in 2022. We'd love to chat with you about that. But Derek, it's been fun as always.
You're gonna do the cheesy talk to you next year thing? Is that because that's what it seems like you're building up to?
Well, I am now.
I mean, honestly, we can't thank you enough. It's 2021. You kept listening to us. You kept us going, and here's to a new year. Big things. Hopefully,
I guess we'll thank you guys because we're closing in on 20,000 downloads now, something like that. So we appreciate it very much. So.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year to say the least, but huge thanks to all you who listen. Huge thanks to one of our huge sponsors, podcasts with Steven Spahn. This year.
He's a good guy.
So who knows what 2022 has in store? This, we could be actually saying this podcast sponsored by. Who knows?
Or maybe we'll have some more special guests. Oh yeah, surprise.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk to you next week and next year.
Oh God, he did it.
I did.